And Orgeron has the Bayou Bengals rolling. Number 20, LSU on the road, winners of 4 of their last 5, taking on the still winless in the SEC Tennessee Volunteers. Hi again, everyone. I'm Bob Wischusen here with Brock Ewart. Allison Williams will join us in just a moment. For the 3rd time since Phil Fulmer was patrolling the sidelines here at Rocky Top, they have made a coaching change. Lane Kiffin, that was drama. Obviously, Derek Dooley, that was failure. Now with Butch Jones, this is as bad as it's ever been here?
Yeah, that's what all the locals have said over the weekend. It was as toxic as it's ever been here. And obviously the firing of Butch Jones means the elevation tonight of interim head coach Brady Hoke, who's been through some firings of his own. And I will be very curious tonight. To me, he controls the keys to how aggressive this team and how emotional they're going to be. If you thought you were going to tune in tonight and see an 0-6 team in conference in a half-full stadium, then I don't think you understand the passion and want to in this town and what football means here in Knoxville. Crowd's lively. And the Volunteers are going to have to be incredibly emotional and aggressive if they're going to get this done tonight.
Welcome to Knoxville. We are just underway between LSU and Tennessee. Bob Wischusen alongside Brock Ewart. Allison Williams down on a windy field here at Neyland Stadium. And Brock, Tennessee, of course, the story this past week, the coaching change. Brady Hoke takes over on an interim basis for these last couple of games. And over on the LSU sideline, Ed Orgeron through this before. Last year takes over. He was the interim coach, earned the head job. Brady Hoke, of course, piloting Tennessee the rest of the way. And this LSU team has won 4 of their last 5, playing excellent football. And they'll start the game with a run to Derrius Guice.
Get ready to see number 5 early and often tonight. He's the best player on this field. He's the most dynamic player. He's got 3 games in his career under his belt, over 250 yards rushing, and he's going to be facing a Vol defense that gave up 433 on the ground to Missouri as this wind howls tonight. In a passing game that already struggles for efficiency, the run game going to be prominent for LSU tonight.
Jet sweep action to Derek Dillon, and he's brought down well behind the line. A loss of at least 4. Nigel Warrior read it and came through like a rocket.
These first 5 minutes of this game are vital for a Tennessee team whose season has been wrecked, who lost their leader. And Ed Orgeron said it, he knows it, as you just said, Bob, he's been in this seat before. How this team responds emotionally in this building early will really set the tone.
Blitz on 3rd down. Swing pass to Darrel Williams. Blockers out in front to the 31-yard line, well short of the first down.
This is amazing, isn't it? I just don't know how many other places you have an 0-6 team in conference and you have over 90,000 that fill the stadium and have the kind of juice that we're feeling tonight.
Into a swirling wind. Zach von Rosenberg gets away a wobbly kick. Marquez Callaway with the fair catch just inside the 30-yard line. And Allison, it is swirling.
Yeah, Bob, it is gusts of 25 miles an hour. I have to tell you, I have never seen so many dropped balls during warm-ups, whether it was guys trying to field a punt or catch a reception. It was obviously really hard to track the ball in this wind. And here's the thing, it's not like it's blowing the length of the field going east to west. It is blowing directly across the field in gusts that have blown people's hats off. At one point, Blake Ferguson, the long snapper for LSU, looked at me and he's like, this is absurd. So it could affect not just throwing and kicking the ball, but even snapping it.
I have to figure both teams will want to keep it on the ground, and it will be 1st and 15 to start off.
False start on the offense, number 77. 5-yard penalty, first down.
And that's the right tackle there, Devontae Brooks. To say this group is young up front is an understatement. That's the best player maybe on the entire Tennessee team, certainly offensively. Trey Smith, he is a true freshman. two of them starting on that O-line tonight.
On 1st and 15 to John Kelly on the ground. And he gets back 4 or so. It will be 2nd down and long, but that's the #1 recruit in America, at least according to the guys that break that down for us at ESPN. #1 on the ESPN 300.
And that's the alpha. And for whoever the next coach is, there is the foundation of this program offensively. Hard to find quarterbacks, hard to find left tackles. He is a gifted one. And he and the young pups around him tonight are going to have to run the ball.
The redshirt freshman, Jarrett Guarantano, has not thrown a touchdown pass since the Indiana State game back on September 9th. The injury carousel has affected Tennessee at quarterback as much as it has on the offensive line. But John Kelly's been here all season long, and he comes up 5 yards shy of the 1st down. So 3rd down for the Vols, and the redshirt freshman, his first start was against South Carolina.
And he's lean and mean, and he's got nobody behind him. Will McBride, who started a week ago, he is out injured tonight. There's 5 healthy linemen. The next guy in is a walk-on converted defensive lineman. I mean, it is 20 guys down tonight. 5 scholarship offensive linemen down. This is a group that is decimated. It's going to take everybody in a Herculean effort to get it done against the Tigers.
Guarantano can't avoid the sack. The blitz comes through, and Kevin Tolliver is able to bring him down, and it will be a 3 and out for Tennessee.
Kevin Tolliver is your corner. Anytime you get into the short field there, the boundary for a veteran quarterback, they're going to peek out there. The 97 Vols are here. And Peyton Manning had a lot of success in this building. There was none better at diagnosing blitzes than number 1-8. He would have seen that blitz, but a redshirt freshman didn't, and he paid for it.
Now, you talked about Trey Smith being arguably the best player for Tennessee. You can make an argument their second best player is about to receive the snap. Trevor Daniel has been that good punting the football, and with the breeze, the intentional end-over-end kick to cut through the wind to DJ Chark. And he is able to squeeze his way to about the 30-yard line. 49-yard punt. That is saying something in these wins. To start off the 33rd all-time matchup between these two teams, a series that dates back to 1925. Tennessee has won 20 of the previous 32 matchups, but Brock, 4 in a row for LSU. Tennessee hasn't beaten LSU since an overtime win back in 2005 down in Baton Rouge.
You said it, they're getting hot. They too are playing a lot of young people. They too are playing 2 true freshmen on offensive line, and they've grown up an awful lot in Matt Canada's system.
A lot of pre-snap shifting into an unbalanced line. Guice looking for a cutback lane. Not much there. Gained a couple. Daniel Batuli made the stop. Let's check it. Tonight's impact players. Brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, it is going to be Derrius Guice in multiple ways. He's going to do it as a quarterback. He's going to do it lining up outside and coming into the running back position. DJ Chark is #1 in the SEC when it comes to yards per catch. #2 in the country. And on the other side are 2 guys out in that secondary. Golden's going to be rotating in at safety. Warrior is just that. He is a physical presence playing strong safety.
Counter handoff, and Guice again is bottled up. Moves the pile for about 3, maybe 4 yards. At the very least, it'll be 3rd down and 5.
And this is an energy you did not see in Columbia, Missouri last week. Didn't see penetration. You didn't see linebackers getting to the line of scrimmage aggressively like Colton Jumper just did. It's a good start for an embattled defensive front 7.
Well, statistically, running the football, the only unit for Tennessee that has probably been worse than their run group has been their run defense. So this already is a win early on for the Vols. 3rd and 5.
Man-to-man.
Etling under pressure, slips a middle screen, short of the 1st down. Foster Moreau turned back. Elliott Berry makes the stop.
That's not a bad play versus man-to-man coverage if you can get your linemen down the field and onto those linebackers, but a better play there from Berry sneaking under that offensive lineman to create another 3-and-out, back-to-back 3-and-outs. Exactly what you're looking for in this building if you're the Volunteers.
Callaway, Tennessee.
Marquez Callaway calls for another fair catch. Lost it at the 15-yard line. LSU's got the football. Russell Gage comes up with the recovery.
Well, Allison nailed it. She said every phase of this game, this wind is going to impact it. It's going to impact the coordinators the way they call it, and it impacts Callaway right there. You can see him. He's anticipating that ball at a certain place, and with 25-mile-an-hour gusts, it's going to move. And there is no sure thing for any of these returners. I mean, you could see the flags there on the uprights, and look at that ball moving. It's like a screwball. Those are hard to hit. They're hard to catch on a punt, too.
Callaway makes the first big mistake. Red zone chance for the LSU offense to get on the board. Etling on a keeper. Submarines to the 11. It'll be 2nd down and 6.
61% LSU scoring touchdowns down here for a group that loves to run the ball. That's got to ratchet up a little bit. And I think it speaks to some of their challenges out on the perimeter. Outside of Chark, there's just not a lot of other efficiency. Love the tight ends. 84, you saw it there, Morrow, earlier on the little screen pass on 3rd down. But typically teams that run the ball well are better finding touchdowns in the red zone.
Etling again on a keeper. Inside the 10-yard line to the 9. Reginald McKenzie was there to make the stop. That's a courageous young man. That is a young man that had a bad disc last year and played through it. And when you have a herniated disc that eventually requires surgery, the only place he could sleep and get pain-free relief was to lay on the floor of his apartment. Facing 3rd down and 4 inside the 10. Etling, swing pass, Guice, bottled up. Quartes Sapp, first there for Tennessee. And the Vols will hold to a field goal attempt after the fumbled punt.
Nowhere to go there. Everybody is covered up. That's a conservative call. You see Matt Canada here, coordinator, I think very early in this game, trying to get a feel, but playing very conservatively in all 3 series.
Connor Culp nails it from 30 yards out. LSU on the board first, but Tennessee with a good stand on defense.
ESPN College Football is presented by Hampton by Hilton. Book a room today and follow your team all the way. And in part by Buick, proud partner of the NCAA.
Bob Wischusen and Brock Ewert, Allison Williams, where coaching changes in Knoxville have come fast and furious since Phil Fulmer left in 2009. And really, Brock, when you think about it, coaching changes have come fast and furious everywhere in the SEC since Nick Saban took over at Alabama.
Yeah, he's changed the game. And the expectations in so many of these locales. I grew up watching a lot of these games, my formative years, and as a kid through junior high, high school, we're watching this checkered end zone in these games at night, and so many big games for so many years and so much success as they just celebrated the 97 team in that end zone. It's a long ways away right now with all the instability.
True freshman Ty Chandler hit hard at the 20-yard line. And it almost begs the question, is there a downside to having Alabama in your league? As Chandler gets up woozy, to say the least. Eric Monroe with a big hit for LSU.
We had a lengthy discussion about that in our production meeting this morning. I don't think there was any definitive answer. I would say yes, it elevates the bar, the attention, the money, the hype, and everything. And they've got to take a good look at Chandler, and they will. He was woozy, another freshman thrown into this mix. But yeah, if you ask me, my opinion, it's good. It's good for the conference. You got to go match them, just like Gino Auriemma has always said at UConn with women's basketball. Got to go take down the best, and to be the best, you got to beat the best. And right now, there is no doubt about where Saban has built his program in Tuscaloosa.
Guarantano to the sideline. And the catch is made by Ethan Wolf.
And there's Brady Hoke, and he's talking to Callaway. He knows, Marquez, you're going to have to catch more of these tonight in this wind and just secure it. Marquez saying, look, I had it. It just blew away from me. Brady Hoke says, don't you dare take anything for granted tonight. Brady was blunt and honest with us. He wants 2 wins for these guys to get them to a bowl game after back-to-back 9-win seasons. For the upperclassmen to find a way to still get to a bowl game. That is still on the table for the Volunteers.
John Kelly nowhere to go. Lost at least 3. 3rd down and 6. Rashard Lawrence blew that play up against the interior of that banged-up offensive line for Tennessee.
Yeah, that is impossible. That is Trey Smith. He's got an inside technique there, and you're asking your true freshman left tackle to somehow, some way get inside of that. That 320-pound man that was anticipating that play. That's what we call an NC on the grade sheet. No contest. Nothing that you could do there against that penetration. Look out, you already saw the one blitz earlier. Dave Aranda, as good as anybody, the coordinator at LSU, of drawing those blitzes up, especially against inexperience on the line and a quarterback.
And this line is porous as there is in the conference. Guarantano flips a screen out to the left, and it's wide open and available for John Kelly. And that is the first down for either team here in the first quarter, a gain of 16.
And that is the one fear that Dave Aranda had. That if you're going to bring that blitz and that pressure, that screen pass, and you could see it, they've been vulnerable this season. And Dave telling us yesterday there's times that they've had the right call on. In that case, that was man-to-man coverage, and his middle linebacker got lost. His eyes were looking into the backfield. He lost sight of Kelly for just that moment, who was able to sneak out and make Aranda pay.
Officials have to re-spot the ball. Let's see if they reset the play clock, and they do for Tennessee. And they'll line up to run Wildcat with John Kelly. He gets driven back after a gain of 1.5 yards. Adnan, how are you?
Gain of 1.
Two more programs that might have different men coaching their teams to open next season than are coaching their respective teams right now in the SEC, as that carousel keeps on spinning in this league. Garland fills a meet. Is able to get to the 44-yard line for a gain of 4.5. Devin White made the stop. Dan Mullen right now is the longest tenured coach in the SEC outside of Nick Saban. And Brock, listening to Paul Feinbaum earlier today when he did his segment on College Game Day, he thinks that might be the leading candidate to come to Rocky Top.
That's what all the locals, as I was listening to the sports talk radio, as I always do when I head into these towns, and it's no more passionate anywhere in America. Ed Orgeron knows it, than the talk radio in the SEC country. It is what they live and die 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, and they too, many of them, clamoring for the success that Mullen has had elsewhere.
Another 3rd down for the Vols. Guarantano, swing pass, one-on-one. Can Kelly break a tackle? He does. Trying to fight his way to the first down marker. He's 1 yard shy, so an early decision for Brady Hoke. 4th and 1 at midfield. What do you do?
Yeah, I absolutely make it look like I'm going for it if I'm not. I'm going to hard count. I'm going to do everything I can. I even take a timeout here to take it all the way down and make this decision. But this is the right call. You've got nothing to lose. And Brady Hoke, you control the aggressiveness of your team tonight. Some of their confidence, some of their emotion with making calls just like this.
Well, the play clock all the way down to 15 already. As the Vols will now break the huddle. Will they snap it on 4th and 1 on their side of the 50? They will. Kelly reaches the ball out. Did he get it to the midfield stripe? Grant Delpit cut him down, but he reached the ball out, and he may have come up inches shot. Without measurement, the officials say first down LSU. Brady Hoke's out on the field, about 10 yards, trying to get the attention of the officials. He can't believe it. Might take a look at this one.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by Xfinity. Experience TV like never before with Xfinity X1. And Best Buy, open this last.
As we went to break, we showed you the 4th down dive of John Kelly, extending the football seemingly across the 50-yard line. Got a bad spot short of the 50. And it was a turnover on downs for LSU until replay saw that angle.
And you could see that ball is going to get across the 50. That is a first down. They have changed that call. And what a battle by Trey Smith, that left tackle, that freshman All-American. He had to tangle once again with Rashard Lawrence, but instead of having to block down, they went toe-to-toe. They love those drills, those O-linemen do. They get on a board, and you got to push that other defender. It's called a board drill. And he creates just enough push for his buddy Kelly to get the ball across the 50. Paying off that 4th down gutsy call from Hoke.
Wide receiver hitch, caught by Brandon Johnson. Breaks a tackle. Inside the 40-yard line. That's a Tennessee first down. Out of bounds at the 35.
And that was a true freshman. That was Grant Delpit out in space. Had a nice tackle, nearly saving tackle on that 4th down run. But this will be the game plan for Tennessee. It is going to, kind of like LSU on the other side, hitch routes, bubble screens, swing passes, just going to play it very close to the vest offensively. And then you've got to be better, and you've got to win those one-on-one matchups, whether it's against those big men at the point of attack or out on the perimeter.
Kelly trying to bounce it outside. Can't shake free. Maybe fought his way back to the line of scrimmage. It'll be 2nd down and long.
Guys, we are already seeing what we expected from Tennessee. More aggressive play calling and an emotionally charged team. Ed Ogeron and LSU knew this would be the case. They experienced it firsthand last year when he took over for Les Miles. And I can tell you guys, down on the sideline, you can feel the energy from Tennessee. Guys are standing up on the bench, waving the towels, jumping around. They are a juice team. The guys I talked to said, we look at it like this. We're starting a new season. We're looking to go 2-0 and play for a 3rd game, and you can see that so far tonight.
Guarantano looking to get off to a 5-for-5 start, and does. High percentage to John Kelly, and that spirit for Tennessee continues. They've got another first down, a gain of 11 more on the slip screen to Kelly.
That is really well timed. It's all about timing and precision. If you're going to be efficient in the screen game, as a QB, you got to bait them. Come on. Come on, Dave Aranda. Come on, bring your rushers at me, and you bait them just enough to allow the offensive lineman to get in front. It's also good timing from Kelly and Guarantano, who had to watch yesterday that debacle, or last week, that debacle in Mizzou. You can feel it.
And shorten the game, right? For a young football team, take it to the end of the quarter. And head right down in front of that student section for a first down inside the 25-yard line when we start the 2nd quarter here at Rocky Top. LSU on top 3-0. Tennessee threatening. To ESPN College Football, presented by Hampton by Hilton. You're watching the SEC on ESPN. And there is the athletic director, first year for Tennessee, John Curry, who responded to the pressure. here in Knoxville that was building on his program to make a coaching change. Butch Jones out, Brady Hoke takes over, but who will be in charge of this program moving forward? Now that process already underway. Still 2 more games to go for the Vols, and this might be a double pass. The trick play comes up short. Tyler Bird pulled the string just a little bit and underthrew the double pass intended for Jordan Murphy.
And we've got onside kicks, we've got fake field goals, we've got a 4th down at your own 49-yard line. You're going to see all of it tonight. There's a look at Larry Scott, the offensive coordinator. He told us this would be coming, but you can just see that ball die. I mean, gusts up to 40 miles per hour now. And I don't mind that call. It's going to continue with the aggressive theme, but tough for quarterbacks to execute down the field, even tougher for running backs and receivers.
Kelly caught behind the line by Devin White. A loss of close to 4, and now it's 3rd down and a mile.
And this guy's a bit of an enigma to me. And he is a little bit to the staff, too. There are plays that are as electric as any linebacker in college football. In fact, he's number 1 in the SEC, 10 tackles a game, 14 a week ago when he didn't have a tremendous grade, but he was the SEC Defensive Player of the Week. I could show you a screen pass from 3 plays ago where he gets blocked up and he lets it out. And then he does stuff like that with just dynamic playmaking. It's a consistency for so many of these young players on this defense that I think Dave Aranda and his staff are still searching for.
3rd and 7+ has been a nightmare for the Vols. This is close to 3rd and 14. Blitz coming. Guarantano. He's going to take a shot towards the pylon, and it's thrown away and incomplete. Josh Palmer, the intended receiver. Ethan Wolf was there as well. So it looks like a field goal attempt for Tennessee to try and tie the game.
And there was some contact, but not enough to draw a penalty. And I would tell Jarrett there, just try to keep that in bounds. Right, that's going to be the theme tonight. Is you're going to just be aggressive. You're going to push the ball. You're going to try to make plays. And if you do so, you got to give your receiver, in that case Callaway, an opportunity to do it.
That was the first incompletion for Guarantano. 45 yards away. Aaron Medley will try and tie it up. Plenty of distance. Wow. And it's good. Room to spare. Tied at 3. Early 2nd quarter here at Neyland. Levin has arrived in the NFL. Monday Night Football, the Battle of the Birds on Monday. The Falcons and Seahawks. Matt Ryan will be going up against one banged-up Seahawks secondary. Should be an interesting one. Monday Night Countdown kicks off our coverage at 6 Eastern on ESPN. And Brock, that's your hometown, Seattle. How about the latest news? Cam Chancellor might be done for the season?
Yeah, that's an identity wrecker, that Legion of Boom, who I think one day will be in the Ring of Honor. It is an entire group. And Richard Sherman, the Achilles surgery this week, he is out. Cam reports today now he is going to be out for the remainder of this season as well. That's catastrophic.
It is not raining yet here in Knoxville, but it will be soon. There is a line of heavy rain headed towards Neyland Stadium. So already with gusty winds, this game could get even more interesting in terms of how these teams handle the elements, as Clyde Edwards-Helaire will take a knee. Adnan. Adnan, we're tied at 3. A little over a minute gone by in the 2nd quarter between LSU and Tennessee. Back to the offense, the Bayou Bengals, starting at their own 25. Bob Wischusen here with Brock Ewart. Allison Williams down on the field. LSU still without a first down on offense.
And has yet to push the ball down the field. Every throw has been at or behind the line of scrimmage. At some point, you know that is going to change to number 7.
Right now, they've got number 5 lined up about 6 yards deep. Derrius Guice can always hit a home run. Lowered his shoulders for about 3. Quartey sat made the stop. Now, Brock, I told you, as Mr. G a moment ago, it was coming. And there is heavy rain right on our doorstep.
You know, if I wasn't doing this, you know what I'd be doing, right? Meteorologist.
I could see you in front of a big green screen.
Yeah, this is called a lot of moisture, high pressure front, pushing in.
Is that what it is?
We've got weather delays and had them all day today. Let's hope we avoid some lightning, but the rain and the moisture's coming.
Etling under pressure. Unloads it to the flat, incomplete. Darrell Taylor was all over Danny Etling, and now it's 3rd down and 7.
And Mr. Etling's going to look at Derrius Guice and say, I need a little more than that. Not just in the run game, but if I'm going to throw it, you've got to protect. And you can see just could not get anything going in that first quarter. Very little push. And Tennessee has done this before defensively. Alabama, Georgia, they played good halves of football, just not 4 quarters.
Can they sustain it? Play clock down to 11 as LSU a little slow getting out of the huddle. 3rd down and 7. Play clock at 5. They get the snap off. Etling under pressure. The pocket collapses. And so does Etling underneath Jonathan Kungba. Callaway lost it again. His 2nd dropped punt, and LSU has it again.
One of the challenges is there is nothing you can do. It was a glorious week of weather. It was beautiful here yesterday, and Brady once again doing his best. But that may be the last punt we see him try to catch in return this evening. You just can't practice this. And you can see fundamentally he's in a better spot. He is underneath the football this time, just does not tuck those elbows in, does not secure that catch. Goes right through his hands. Got to get that chin up. Chin up.
And now Tennessee's going to take a timeout on defense, and we'll step aside for just a moment as well.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by Goodyear, hard-working tires that deliver blimp-worthy performance. And Dell, don't just play, game.
Tonight the night here in Knoxville, where the 97 Vols, who won the SEC behind Peyton Manning, honored. And Brock Ewart, your old teammate, came in for the reunion.
Yeah, and they all came in. It speaks to some of the family and how important ball is here in this town, in this community. Yeah, he wasn't too bad. Those stats pretty good.
Not a bad guy to hand it to as well.
Yeah, I mean, some stats change, right? We look at the number of touchdowns the kids throw today and the spread and the number of plays and everything else. Those stand up pretty good 20-some years later.
How about Reggie White and Peyton Manning side by side in the Ring of Honor here at Neyland Stadium? Well, now, once again, the Vols need their defense to stand up in the red zone.
How about something down the field? How about a little bit of an aggressive shot to pay off this field position for now a 2nd time?
On a keeper, it's Etling. He picked up 4. LSU still doesn't have a 1st down. Their first field goal came because Marquez Callaway muffed a fair catch. They took over in the red zone and could manage only 3. The exact same scenario here. They are taking over in the red zone after the 2nd muff by Marquez Callaway. Looking to take the lead.
Well, these guys are flying. That's Patulli, the linebacker. You see linebackers flying like they are right now. You have to counteract that with play action pass.
Option. The pitch out to the edge. Guice toe taps. And he stepped out at the 10. It'll be 3rd down and 1. Big play here. LSU looking for their first down. And if they get it, it'll be a goal-to-go situation.
They trust their left guard an awful lot. Their center left guard, two of their most powerful men on the line of scrimmage.
Sweep. Cut back. It's there for Darrel Williams. LSU with the touchdown. And they've got the lead back.
Well, just as effective. I was calling for play action pass, but all their jet sweep accomplishes really the same thing. You're going to come and watch the motion here. Look at the defensive end, Kyle Phillips. He is going to take it. Once those shoulders turn here, you are dead. A good kick out block. And a touchdown for LSU to finally pay off a favorable field position.
The 7th rushing touchdown this season for Darrel Williams. And through the wind, Culp adds the point after. LSU by a touchdown early second quarter. It reminds us we're here from Neyland Stadium in Knoxville, Tennessee for a great time. And those flags have been starched since the start of tonight's game, and we have already seen 2 muffed punts for Marquez Callaway for Tennessee cost the Vols all 10 points that LSU has on the board. Bob Wischusen here with Brock Ewart. Allison Williams down on the field, and again expecting the rain to start anytime now, which Brock is going to make those special teams plays even more of an adventure.
And the passing game, which we've seen very little of for both teams here.
And there is Callaway, the up man in the 2-man return group, as Tim Jordan is a couple of yards deep. And this will be a touchback.
The charges of defensive coordinator Dave Aranda's to take talent and turn them into football players, and you do that defensively by being unselfish. Look at the block destruction of the 3 big men. They play a 3-4 defense. It keeps the SEC's leading tackler, Devin White, clean, number 40 there. Look at this. These are guys that are just being selfless, taking on double teams. By just knowing that if they can take on those blocks, and those 3 can defeat 5 for Dave Aranda, you're going to have tackles all over the place by these linebackers. Exactly what you've seen from Devin White through the first 15-plus minutes.
And I guess that's how Devin White leads the SEC in tackles per game. And Dave Aranda has brought this same program from Wisconsin to LSU with similar results. A fun defense to watch. Not so fun, I guess, if you're Guarantano. As he hands to John Kelly, tries to go wide. And the Bayou Bengals stretch it out. And it's another tackle for loss. There's Devin White again. Ray Thornton helping out. Luckily for John Kelly, he got the ball back to the line of scrimmage. 2nd down and 10. Third down and 7 coming up after a 3-yard gain for Kelly.
Once again, it is those big men. Those shoulders are just square. You've got seniors in Gilmore and Lockature playing against true freshmen on the other side. You were able to rotate in a big old Frank Herron. Look at Lockature there, the 5th-year player. Right, those guys stay so square at the point of attack, makes it so difficult to move them. It's hard enough for juniors and seniors in this league to do it. It's quite a challenge for freshmen and redshirt freshmen, which is what this Vol line is littered with.
Jordan in the right flat. Room to run. Breaking tackles and somersaulting. Out to the 45-yard line is Tim Jordan, the true freshman. And it looks like injured on the play is Frank Herron.
If you drop 2 punts, how are you going to make up for it? And watch my guy Callaway come in here. We call this a crack screen. Callaway drops 2 punts. Where does he take that frustration out on? Right on that middle linebacker, and this ball is thrown behind the line of scrimmage, so this contact is allowed. Callaway's a big guy, 6'2", 200 pounds, and once again for the 3rd time this evening, Those numbers don't lie. That screen pass effective, and that nearly to the house if Jordan could keep his feet.
Are you surprised that Tennessee has been able to use LSU's aggression defensively against them as the training staff continues to work on Frank Herron? I mean, I guess for Dave Aranda, is there maybe some logic in saying, you know, why would we blitz? Yeah. Why are we bringing pressure? If we just rush 4 against a banged-up offensive line, can we not just play defense behind our front 4 and not give up that play of aggression?
Well, Dave loves to crunch the numbers. I mean, he does it as much as any coordinator that we talk to in our production meetings, and he loves to defeat plays, kind of like Gary Patterson in that way. It's not just about their scheme. They're trying to take apart plays, and he pointed to these screens as being problematic, and you can see the yards, you know, allowed this season, you know, on some of those screen passes and early in games. But yes, Bob, I said that to you before the game. And it's nice to see Frank Herron is up and at least walking. Like, this is going to be a challenge for Dave to just keep it simple at times because he loves to get after it. And you see the big fella here, some friendly fire.
And just a leg whip. John Battle was trying to make the catch, or the tackle, I should say, and ended up colliding with his teammate. And Frank Herron is a young man that graduated in August after being suspended from the Citrus Bowl last year for academics. Got his academics in order. He's a graduate senior and became the first member of his family to graduate college.
It's awesome.
So now the only thing for Frank Herron is just to shake it off and see if he can get back on the field. Looked like he gave a little thumbs up to the guys on the sideline as well, as he will head to the medical tent and get checked out. But it is a first down for Tennessee.
Between the 40s, where every coordinator loves to be aggressive and take shots.
Tennessee tries a jet sweep of their own. That's Malik Elliott, the track star, the walk-on, given a chance to carry the football, and he picked up 10.
How many times have we got an SID moments before a game, walk into our booth and say, oh, here you go, here's another guy. 5'7", $185. If you see him on the field, he's probably going to get the ball. I mean, they're just taking everybody, all comers, to try to fill some of the voids left by so many injuries to this Tennessee team this season. Take a shot. Take a shot to Callaway. You're going to get some one-on-ones. He's right to the top of the screen here.
Instead, it's Kelly. Turns the corner. Runs a man over. Boy, did Dante Jackson pay the price to come up and try and slow down John Kelly.
Dante's getting a little more run there at that safety position. So again, some of the versatility over the course of a season. You try to learn your personnel, what you do best. It's a lot of teams in space and spread. You love to have a guy that can run sideline to sideline like Dante. You sacrifice a little size, as he felt there in that collision with Kelly, for his presence and speed. Actually lined up on this one to the top at that corner position.
Kelly again. Powerful run. Right to the first down line of the game. Looks like he's about a half-yard shy. You know, John Kelly saw the X Games on ESPN when he was 9 years old and fell in love with skateboarding, to the point that that's all he wanted to do. He wanted to become a professional skateboarder. But the Pop Warner coaches in his town went to his mom and said, no, he's got a future in football, not in skateboarding. And his mom would say, well, if you want to find him for practice, he's at the skate park. That's where you have to go get him. And they did. And they dragged him to football practice. And
he could do a mean ollie. You know what they were called?
I don't even know what that means. 3rd down and 1. Here's Kelly. First down.
You didn't have the Tony Hawk skateboard back in the day?
Let's head back to Adnan.
Adnan did.
I could see that. Cruising around Central Park with his sweatband on his head and the big sweatbands on his wrists. Spandex, that says Adnan Virk to me. 1st and 10. They go with the workhorse, and it's Kelly again, grinding out extra yards. He's got 8.
Well, he is the heartbeat. Skateboarder or not, he is the engine that makes this group go. And I'll tell you, I love the plan tonight. I love the fact they are taking so much of this play clock down. Brady Hoke talked about stealing possessions to us yesterday. I think he's gotten a feel for this game, and this is some of the advantage of having Brady Hoke and his experience, 3-time head coach. In fact, conference coach of the year 3 different times, only 2 men in the history of college football alongside him in that category. And I like how he's playing this. You know what, we're going toe-to-toe with him, and outside of botching 2 punts here, we're right in this thing, and I like how he's shortening this game tonight.
Kelly, this time, ends up walled off by Greg Gilmore and Kristen Lacouture. And now we've got some players on the near side of the field that have to be separated by the officials after the play was over. It was Marquez Callaway getting into it with Brady Williams. It'll be 3rd down and 3.
I think that's a little bit of the frustration for Marquez. He took it out earlier on a block. Still frustrated that those 2 punts went through his hands, setting up the 10 points for LSU. This has got to be 4-down territory.
Timeout called before the 3rd down play by Tennessee. So we'll step aside. Big 3rd down for the Vols when we come back.
That's what you're asked to be on a screen pass as a quarterback. Excellent use here of Guarantano's eyes. He is selling it. And you can see it affecting those linebackers at the 2nd level. It's also allowing the big fellas to get out in front and do what they do best right now. Again, those eyes down the field, allowing the offensive linemen to get in front. And not a tremendous job here of LSU on either of those snaps, reacting and rallying defensively. Been the most effective play for Tennessee in the passing game, and the one element here that LSU, not just tonight but over the course of the season, has given up.
And that rain we said was on the way has arrived before 3rd down and 3. Guarantano on a rollout behind the line of scrimmage, nowhere near picking up the 1st down. Corey Thompson all over Ethan Wolf. And now, if it is 4-down territory, it will be 4th down and closer to 4.
Wow.
No gain.
Ethan Wolf needs to replace his divot, and it looks like it's going to be Aaron Medley out to attempt a field goal. Now this is, if the wind is at your back at one end of the stadium, this would be the end. He effortlessly put his first one through from 45. And they may have to call another timeout. Looks like they are needing another player on the field, as Ethan Wolf is part of the field goal protection group, but he had all that grass stuck in his helmet. He needed to be replaced, was replaced late, and they get the snap off. Unless a timeout was called, which would be good news for Tennessee because Medley missed the kick. And it looks like they got the timeout called before the field goal attempt. A quick timeout for us as well. Right back to Knoxville. Sunday NFL countdown at 10 a.m. Eastern. Tomorrow, here on ESPN, the 5th anniversary of the butt fumble, and the crew counts down the biggest blunders in NFL history. Plus, Randy Moss ranks the best catches from this weekend's college football action. You got Mossed. You can also see Countdown streaming live on the ESPN app. So after the timeout, 46 yards away for Aaron Medley to try and pull Tennessee within 4. No chance. Well, let's head back to Adnan. All right, Adnan, thanks very much. How about that game for the U and how they have lived Brock this season on the brink in more than one game?
Just a courageous group that believes no matter what is gone against them, they battle back.
So after the field goal miss, back to the offense for LSU. Play action for Danny Etling. He wants to take a shot down the sideline for DJ Chark, and it floats out of bounds.
Hitch and throw. That's what he's been asked to do. And talking to Matt Canada yesterday, he said typically when Danny's been at his best this year, and we're not asking him to do an awful lot, just get rid of the ball. Just trust what you see there. Just do not have that paralysis by overanalysis. Just let it go. Even if it is covered, you've got enough playmakers out there on the perimeter. Better to do that than to sit and hold the ball and be too late. No opportunity there to Chark.
Darrel Williams on 2nd and 10. To about the 33-yard line for a gain of 4. Nigel Warrior playing that spot. His dad played so well. Dale Carter, a 4-time Pro Bowler and 2-time All-Pro. 3rd down and 6. Four-man rush. Etling out of the pocket to the sideline, but nowhere near the first down. Foster Moreau blown up out of bounds by Elliott Berry. A flag thrown well behind the quarterback all the way down inside the 10-yard line. And that may not be a penalty marker.
That'd be the massive debris that is flying all over the field, Bob.
That's a piece of an orange pom-pom that flew out the stands from the wind. It still looks like a penalty marker's down to the field. Emmanuel Mosley back to receive the punt. He's going to let this one bounce. And it will take a great LSU hop and roll down to the 5-yard line.
Guys, the wind is definitely making a mess of things here. It's been gusting about 28 miles an hour, and what's happened is all these pom-poms that they handed out to fans, well, as they're waving and cheering, it is blowing parts of them all over the field. It literally looks like a party down here that somebody didn't clean up after.
That looks like our den at home. That's because I have too many children, but someone needs to get that piece of pom-pom off the field, because to blind announcer man up here above the press box, that's going to drive me crazy all night. It still looks like a penalty marker.
No, it's moving.
Good. Maybe the wind will take care of my own problem. John Kelly inside the 5-yard line. He's bottled up. Lost a half-yard. Grant Delpit came up and sold out to stop the run. And now a timeout will be called by LSU to try and conserve some time for their offense if they can flip the field.
You can see the stopping power. What is it about LSU? You've got one up there in New York now in Jamal Adams. These guys grow on trees down there, down in the South. They find dynamic, it's DBU, and it's not just the corners. They find dynamic safeties as well.
Yeah, there is an amazing tradition of talent that has developed over the years in Louisiana. And when you start to stack up the state of Louisiana with so many of the other traditional football powerhouse states like Texas and California and Florida, I think Georgia as well, the only 4 states that have produced more ESPN 300 recruits over the past decade or so than Louisiana. Did that surprise you?
No, and they love to play ball, and they love to play it on the defensive side, which is what this game is going to become. It already has here in the first half. The weather is only going to erode and get worse and worse and worse. And my hunch is all these dynamic defensive players love it. Offensive guys hate it. Kickers hate it, as you just saw in that last one. But defensive guys, bring the rain, bring the wind, we'll bring the pain.
And how about the job that Ed Orgeron has done with this group? When they lost to Troy, you had to think that there was going to be a sense in Baton Rouge of, oh no. You know, we brought Ed Orgeron in as the permanent head coach after last season. The only time he had been a head coach before, of course, a disastrous run at Ole Miss. But how about the response of this program since that loss?
And it was those defensive guys in that Florida game. It was the defensive guys after the missed kick that said, we will not allow another score. As you see the white hat here, talking about the weather and the conditions as they are deteriorating.
It looks like with 3:22 to go before halftime, they are saying that it is still safe to play football as the rain is coming down much heavier now. Kelly doing what he can, but there's just nowhere to run against that defensive front. as Kalavan Chason made the stop, and it will be another LSU timeout.
That's another true freshman and playing tonight a little bit more because Arden Key did not make the trip. Either did Donnie Alexander. Both of those veteran players out for LSU, and you really wouldn't know it very much. They just plug in the next guy.
Tuesday on ESPN, the exclusive reveal is coming. It will be the latest college football playoff top 25 rankings at 7 p.m. Reese and the guys will break it down. They'll have coaches' reactions, a live interview with committee chairman Kirby Hoke as usual. It will also be streaming live on the ESPN app. And here is what is just outside of the top 3 as things stand now. Wisconsin. That strength of schedule is going to get a little bit better after their win earlier today.
A whole lot better. And for everything we said about Miami, those are the two without a blemish, along with Alabama. And they're similar. They've got tremendous resolve. And they believe they're going to win. And because of it, both sit undefeated and control their opportunity.
Can Tennessee afford to just put the ball in the freezer here on 3rd down and 10? They're going to run it again. They're trying to get outside with a stiff arm as Kelly. And does not make the 10-yard line. Chased out by Michael Divinity. And that will stop the clock, at least for the moment, with 3:08 to go.
And LSU does not have to burn that final timeout, but that's reflective not just of Jarrett there in the redshirt freshman. That's reflective of an offensive line that you are not about on 3rd and extra long passing situation to go against any of the blitzes on the other side.
DJ Chark at midfield awaits the kick of Trevor Daniel, #1 in the SEC, tied 3rd in America with punts inside the 20, and also 4th in FBS, 47 yards per kick. So he has been a weapon, but this one into a breeze, and it takes a good hop for Tennessee inside the 40-yard line, out of bounds at the 39 of LSU. A 53-yard punt from the end zone for Trevor Daniel.
Yeah, that's big time. And if you're LSU, you better pick up the pace here. Right, it has been all on the ground. Really the one dynamic play they had, the end around, that jet sweep to Darrel Williams. Very little for Derrius Guice.
How much of a risk taker would you be as a play caller here with a touchdown lead in a sideways rainstorm before halftime?
I would be very careful, but set up that play action pass you have with a commitment to the run.
Etling will roll out to the sideline. That is a completion. And that's good for a first down to Derek Dillon, a gain of 12.
And that's a good play. That mitigates risk. You're not just sitting there in the pocket. You're moving the pocket, a run-pass option there. And as you can see, Etling squaring the shoulders, throwing his first dart down the field.
And they go hurry up, still with a timeout. Darrel Williams turns the corner, and he's down the sideline. Darrel Williams with a block. Finally brought down inside the 15, close to the 10. They'll say he stepped out at the 13.
You know what you never do? You never do defensively. You never duck under a block. And that's exactly what the safety Abernathy tried to do there, and that freed up the edge, and LSU makes Tennessee pay for 31.
Etling up the middle, and a quarterback keeper walks into the end zone with an LSU touchdown. Ed Orgeron called timeouts from the sideline on defense, thinking he was going to need some time on the clock. Instead, his offense goes right down the field in 28 seconds. And it's a 2-touchdown lead for LSU with a flag down on the point after.
Offside on the defense, number 18. That penalty is declined. The point is good.
Check out this look right here. I was showing you tape yesterday of Cortez Sapp, redshirt sophomore middle linebacker right here that has struggled at times with his eyes. And look at Mr. Etling. He is looking at one guy in this read. He's looking at one, and he can read that body language clear as day. And once Cortez commits to this, Well, you can see it. There is just nobody left. And that is a wonderful feeling. There's a QB that runs a 4.940. You need a lot of green grass to go and finish the touchdown, and that's exactly what Etling gets. And you can see the conversation on the sideline. The eye discipline for 4 quarters. It's been lacking this year.
You were talking about Danny Etling running a 4.940.
Correct.
Right? That wasn't autobiographical?
Maybe.
No, we're...
Sure.
Change the first digit. I think 5.940 is probably
he likes that
more
smile
accurate.
because he knows it. It's 17-3 now, and in this kind of monsoon that is coming, with an offense on the other side that has struggled to score any points consistently, especially as the injuries have mounted. That was ideal pushing into halftime.
And once again, a kick through the end zone. The ESPN app is a fan's best friend. Stream every ESPN or ABC college football game live at home or on the go. You'll get access to scores, news, and highlights all season long. Download the ESPN app to start streaming now.
Well, this is danger zone time. Right, the one thing you wanted to do if you were Tennessee is to keep the faithful engaged. Right? It was a toxic environment. It was a frustrated home fan base. It was really clamoring for change. They got change. In the first 15 minutes here, it was electric, Bob. Electric. And you knew you had to keep them involved in this game. Brady did. If he wanted a chance for the upset tonight, unless you get it going here in a hurry, this place could empty out.
Guarantano, quick hitter to the sideline. Hauled in by Brandon Johnson, because at some point you have to do something offensively besides give the ball to John Kelly.
Yes, and your defenders feel that. Right, defenders are not only reactionary to plays oftentimes, they can be reactionary to what the other side is doing as well. And if it feels hopeless, like, man, another 3 and out, another 3 and out, another 3 and out.
They have to respot the football as the wind is so strong down on the field. The ball started to blow across inside the hash mark. 2nd down and 7. Guarantano, there's a screen that's bobbled and dropped by Kelly. Well, this big orange offense is the worst that anyone in Knoxville can remember. They are 101st in FBS or worse in scoring, rushing, passing, total offense, 3rd down conversions, and sacks allowed. Just doesn't get any worse than that. And just above the score, you can see one after another at the bottom of the league in every important offensive category in the SEC for Tennessee. Guarantano under pressure again. He might have to try and run for it. Instead, throws one across his body, trying to make the catch and stay in bounds is Callaway. Did he do it? The officials say yes. That's a big 3rd down catch for Tennessee and Marquez Callaway.
Well, and there's a difference. We saw a go route earlier tonight where the ball sails out of bounds, and this one, this is all guts here for Jarrett. This is I'm going to put it up there, and it's got to be your ball or nobody's ball. And Callaway once again responding and delivering. Frustrated with his 2 muff punts. He's come back and been a better blocker, and that was by far the best play for this offense tonight.
Looking for him again. And Callaway's got it with a flag down. He's into the end zone. It's a touchdown. We'll have to check the penalty marker.
Pass interference on the defense, number 1. That penalty is declined. Result of the play is a touchdown.
How about that bounce back from Marquez Callaway? You have to feel great for that kid. You muff 2 punts and give up 10 of LSU's 17 points. To come back and catch a 46-yard touchdown before halftime.
And you just got 7. You did it. Oh, and you just showed your quarterback do it again. Okay, we're going to play on the playground in the second half. It is going to be a mess. Debris is going to be flying everywhere. It's not going to be pretty. Just throw it up to me, and I'm going to deliver on the other end.
And all they needed was the know-nothing announcer to start talking about how much their offense has been struggling, and they get 2 big plays to Callaway.
Yeah, there's no rocket science here. This is just a straight go route, and he gets on top of the undersized Jackson there. Who wants some more? What did Brady Hoke say to us yesterday? Not 50-50 balls. They're 33-33-33. Okay, there's different results. Catch and incompletion. You can get pass interference. There's other things that can happen on that side. Interception. I guess that would be 25, 25, 25, 25 if you want to really break it down.
Good math.
You're welcome. But more importantly, that was 7 that he got back on his own. In back-to-back plays, a tremendous third down catch, the body control to come back, keep the foot in bounds. And I bet you they go into halftime and there will be further conversation out of this rain. And he's going to tell the young redshirt freshman who threw his first touchdown pass since Indiana State, look for me again. They can't cover me in those one-on-one situations.
Marquez Callaway had 115 yards against Georgia Tech in the opener. He had not gone over 53 yards in a game since then. He just had the better part of the 75 yards of that drive by himself. So on one drive, back-to-back plays, he puts up bigger numbers than he has put up in any game since their opener.
Yeah, we saw him earlier. He was visibly shaking. And I'll tell you what else. The esteemed Mitch Smith, our spotter up in the booth, he whispered in my ear during the break. He said, look at the number of guys that are coming over to him. He must be one good guy on this team. If you're a bad apple, there's not going to be coach after coach, player after player that's going to come up and encourage you, right, and try to pick you back up. He was emotionally shaken by the points that he gave up on the other side, and boy, did he ever respond on that drive.
Etling, incomplete for Chark. So LSU is not content to just take a 7-point lead into the locker room at halftime in a rainstorm. 29 plays, averaging about 3 yards per play for Tennessee before 4 plays and a lightning strike touchdown. Guice. A couple of yards shy of a first down.
And if it's your Tennessee, it's hang on time. You're going to get the ball to begin this second half. And there's no need for timeouts or anything. You don't even have them on your side. LSU has the 1 remaining. You just do not want to give up any momentum if you're Tennessee here going into halftime. And if you're LSU here, this is probably a smart play. Take care of the football.
Tennessee's out of timeouts. LSU, now that the clock goes under 40 seconds, can take a knee and end the half should they choose. Instead, they'll let Guice have an opportunity. And he picks up the first down, but there's no reason for them to snap it again. They can just go to the locker room at this point.
Unless you want to do the same. You got Chark on the other side. He's second in the country, 24 yards per catch, best in the conference.
So you think take a shot here?
As long as that safety isn't over the top of it, yes.
Well, Etling's going to roll that way. Over the middle, incomplete for Stephon Sullivan.
Yeah, Tennessee doesn't have a timeout left. And you just saw on the other side, it's out on the playground when conditions get like this. And if you can craft a one-on-one situation, it's one of the nation's best at making the big plays down the field. Yeah, I'm willing, with a senior quarterback making his 33rd start, to be smart enough. He's got 2 interceptions on the entire season. I let it rip.
Etling wide open. It's Russell Gage. And they are in position with a timeout now to possibly get into field goal range, as their aggression with their play calling might pay off.
Yeah, you've got a guy that's got a tremendous governor, maybe at times too much. 2 interceptions the entire season, only 11 touchdown passes on the other side of it, so there is a bit of a trade-off there. You've also had some kicking issues over the course here of this season as you've gone to your second kicker. Not ideal conditions, but continue to push the ball, and you've still got that timeout in your pocket.
Etling out of the pocket, extending the play, and he's going to take off. So down to 8 seconds, still with a timeout, and you see our field goal line on the edge of your screen at about the 30-yard line. That was where the LSU coaches told us going in this direction they were comfortable giving Connor Culp a try.
A few things here in that huddle. You're going to throw more than likely a quick game here. You're also going to tell anybody that if they get beyond that first down line, you have got to get down. You have got the timeout. Those reminders in the huddle here. Doesn't just have to be a boundary throw. With 8 seconds, you can throw a quick slant, you throw a quick hitch. You've got to get down and call that timeout.
That's Chark in motion.
Quick out.
Etling finds Chark, and he's going to scramble to the sideline. Still but 2 seconds. Not quite in what they would consider comfortable field goal range, but on the last play of the half, why not try a long one? And that's what Ed Orgeron sends Connor Culp out to do.
That is tremendous execution from Danny Etling. Can't do it better than that. Protected the football, did not put it in harm's way at all, and has given Culp at least the opportunity from 53.
His career long only 47, and this on a wet field, a windy, rainy night. Does it have the distance? It hits the upright.
He tried to play that wind. It was trying to draw right back inside that upright. Just not quite enough. A game of inches.
Still terrific execution to even give him a try. Adnan in the studio with the halftime report.
So we're ready to get this going here, Lexus. Jesse Palmer, Joey Galloway, Matt Nimberg, they got their game faces on. Me, not so much. But we kick it off first with UCLA and USC. Highlights from that game, which is over right now on ABC. A great match, of course, of quarterbacks in Rosen versus Darnold, and both these guys have not disappointed so far. But check this out. So early in the first, the punt return. Check the top of the screen, right, fellas? Because you think, no, I got it. No. How about the fake?
This is absolutely incredible. A great play call. The cover team is looking at the return man, and they're believing the ball is coming to him. When you'll see knows it's going the other direction.
The only guy on UCLA who knows where the ball is the punter. Just watch him down the field. He's thinking, oh man, there's 3 guys blocking me. I'm the only guy back there. Great job dialing up a trickeration type play on special teams.
Michael Pittman Jr. 72-yard touchdown return. Then Josh Rosen to Jordan Lastly.
And we know how talented Rosen is. You can see the throw before this touchdown, and then the touchdown throw as good as you'll see all season.
So 7-all right now on ABC. You see the numbers for Rosen so far. 6 of 9, 88 yards and a touchdown. We come back. Baker Mayfield, maybe the Heisman Trophy frontrunner, but his antics getting a lot of conversation. Here's Jesse.
Dos Equis is reviewing entries for the most interesting fan of college football. Now, you guys know I want my statue in the College Football Hall of Fame, so I'm doing the exact same thing I did for good luck when I played ball. I haven't changed my socks in a week.
You're not eligible, Jesse.
Carl.
Welcome back to the Mercedes-Benz Halftime Report.
Miami hosting Virginia. Hurricanes had that enormous victory against Notre Dame a week ago. How would they fare this time out? Kurt Benkert had a huge day.
And Benkert was just outstanding in the first half. This is his 3rd touchdown. You see it's a tight throw, tight catch, but he holds on to it for 3 steps before the ball comes out. The official originally calls incomplete pass. They review, and it's a touchdown.
Cavs go up 21-14. 3rd quarter, Benkert throwing right, and this time it's Johnson, pick 6.
When in doubt, get the turnover chain out. This defense has forced 4 or more turnovers in each of the last 4 games. Huge pick 6 here by Jaquan Johnson.
Yeah, maybe gimmicky, but it is working. 4th quarter, Malik Rose 0 for the middle for the touchdown.
Miami scored 30 points in the second half of this game after getting off to a slow start.
Mark Richt, how many times he says issues?
Had some special teams issues. We had some defensive issues. We had some offensive issues. But the thing we didn't have was a heart issue. Everybody played with all their heart, and we didn't have an issue with belief and team unity when things weren't looking too great. So that's the thing I probably appreciate the most about this team of players and coaches.
5 issues, but they're all heart, baby. Michigan and Wisconsin, 3rd quarter. Badgers trailing at 10-7. Alex Hornibrook to A.J. Taylor.
Great job by Hornibrook stepping up in the pocket, keeping his focus downfield, reading coverage, and hitting Taylor on the double post.
Brandon Peters throwing down the left sideline, incomplete, and he's hurt on the play.
And this is tough for Michigan. Peters was the backup to O'Korn. He comes in, and then he gets hurt. O'Korn comes back in. This is an offense that has struggled all season long to throw the ball.
Peters carted off the field. Wisconsin running the reverse with Kendrick Pryor.
I love this about Wisconsin. Their 2 top receivers might be done for the season, but young guys like Davis, Taylor, and Pryor all making plays for this offense. Wisconsin 11-0.
Now they win it 24-10. Elsewhere, Illinois and Ohio State. This was a beatdown. Mike Weber.
And the team that Wisconsin will see in the Big Ten championship game, the Ohio State Buckeyes, came out on fire on offense, running the ball very well for the second straight week.
2 lost teams still alive in the playoff race.
Now the Buckeyes clinched the East, so the Big Ten championship game is set. Oklahoma and Kansas. I'm not shaking your hand. Kansas players don't want to shake hands with Baker Mayfield. He found it comical. Here he rolls right, finds Rodney Anderson.
Great job by Mayfield keeping the play alive and looking downfield. And who does he find? Rodney Anderson, who had 139 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns last week in their win against TCU.
Mayfield made sure Kansas knew. Later on, he finds Marquise Brown on a screen.
And you see Marquise Brown out in space, offensive lineman downfield getting huge blocks. Great playmaking, great running.
Sooners go up 21-3, and then third quarter, Mayfield completes a pass to Mark Andrews.
Rolling right, finds his big play tight end. He's been a big weapon all Baker Mayfield's career. You see, he makes some obscene gestures, had a few choice words for the Kansas sidelines. The Sooners would go on to win 41-3.
Those antics, though, much conversation afterwards.
In the moment, you do something, you get caught up in the emotional stuff. You know, I talked about I'm a competitive player, but you know, when I realized that the coaches said something about it, that was when I, realized that I had really messed up. Cameras are always on me, so got to be smart, and that's not something I want to do.
It was chippy from the second that their guys decided they didn't want to shake our hands at the coin toss, and that the chippiness started there. But despite all that, there's no excuse for it.
Baker Mayfield is the Heisman Trophy frontrunner, but obviously these antics raising a lot of conversation. Joey, what's your reaction?
He's 22 years old. It is time to leave that stuff to the side. We've seen issues in the offseason with the police issue. We've seen him plant a flag at Ohio State at midfield. And so you want your quarterback, you want your leader of your football team, especially in the position that Oklahoma's in, when you get into the playoff, you want to be focused on playing football. You need your leaders of your football team to keep everyone else in line, and Baker Mayfield doesn't do that for Oklahoma.
He's not the poster child of sportsmanship right now, no doubt, but I think what you love about Baker Mayfield is the fact that he plays with a lot of heart and he plays with a lot of emotion. I think what we saw today was reactionary because of what happened at the coin toss. He took an egregious hit, guys, in the second quarter. Should have been targeting. It was a cheap shot. He is a senior. He's a leader. He's the front runner for the Heisman. You'd love to see him show a little bit more control, a little bit more constraint. Does this hurt his NFL draft stock? Maybe a little. Does it hurt his Heisman chances? In my opinion, absolutely not.
For you, does it hurt his Heisman chances?
No, because there's not much competition out there. It's his trophy. But I think in a season, if we had more guys to choose from in this situation, it may hurt.
It'd be interesting.
We shall see. For Oklahoma, that win puts them in the Big 12 title game. So TCU controls their own destiny for the second spot after Oklahoma State's loss. A win next week puts them in. But if they lose, it gets complicated. Iowa State can get the second spot with a win and some help, while tiebreakers would keep OSU, Texas, and West Virginia out. Pretty straightforward, right? Make sure you join us for Sports Center tonight, 1:30 a.m. Eastern. We'll talk more about Baker Mayfield and him taunting Kansas, with the repercussions there. Plus, top of the class, who do you like better, Rosen or Darnold? Update you on that game, USC, UCLA, and the Heisman Encore. Lamar Jackson better this year. Joey's been saying he should be getting some more pub. All that more coming up on Sports Center tonight, 1:30 a.m. Eastern.
Your championship pedigree speaks volumes.
Anybody can lose to anybody on a week-to-week basis.
What if your time is running out? The College Football Playoff Top 25 Ranking Show, Tuesday at 7 on ESPN, presented by Capital One.
Battle of Los Angeles on ABC, updating you on UCLA and USC. That's Ronald Jones.
Ronald Jones has been on absolute fire in recent weeks for this USC offense. USC regains the lead.
And UCLA's rush defense is porous. Alabama and Mercer, Jalen Hurts to Josh Jacobs.
Easy walk in the park for Alabama today against Mercer. You knew they had to run the ball. Hopefully they get a little healthier on defense. Got a big game against Auburn next week.
Mercer got $600K to play the game. Good for them.
It's a win for all concerned. Louisiana Monroe and Auburn. Garrett Smith intercepted for a touchdown. Nick Ruffin returned.
Fantastic job on defense here for the interception. Kerryon Johnson had another big day at running back for Auburn. He needs to get in the Heisman discussion, guys. Cannot wait for the Iron Bowl next week. It'll determine who goes on to play Georgia in the SEC championship game.
42-14, the Tigers roll Georgia and Kentucky. More SEC Fourth quarter, Nick Chubb, 55-yard touchdown.
Georgia having to bounce back from a tough loss to Auburn last week. They were physical. They ran the ball the way you expect to see Georgia and Nick Chubb run the football today.
Georgia wins at 42-13 the final.
This halftime report is presented by Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing.
Atlanta checking out Clemson. Number 2 team in the country facing the Citadel. Kelly Bryant, 53-yard touchdown to Citizen Kane. That would be Deion Kane. They were all over them as Clemson wins it 61-3.
This halftime report is presented by Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing.
Welcome back to ESPN College Football presented by Hampton Hilton. You're watching the SEC on ESPN. We knew at some point the heavy rain was going to arrive. It has arrived, to say the least. LSU with a 7-point lead over Tennessee. We think we're ready for the start of the second half. We're up here somewhere, but it is a sideways monsoon of a rainstorm here at Neyland Stadium. On top of that, about half of the lights that ring the top of the stadium went out while we were away just before we came back. I'm looking up at the lights now. They don't seem to be coming back on. This is an amazing scene, and on top of that, both teams ran out of the tunnel like they were about to play the second half of the Super Bowl. I think the players are ready to take on the elements.
You love this. I mean, watching Ed Orgeron in the tunnel, right, and talking to Allison here, this is what you live for. You're like a kid again. And I know these are young men. These aren't yet professional football players, but this brings you back to when you're 7, 8, 9 years old, when your pads didn't fit you. All those little kids we saw in the hotel today, Bob, playing their Little League football playoff games. Man, this is exactly what it's like for these guys. Love it.
When I was 8 or 9 years old, if I tried to play in this, my mom would have pulled me into the house. It is hard to see the field. It might be hard to see the football. We're going to play some football as the second half is underway. And the ball is somewhere in all of that. And it's loose back inside the 10-yard line, back to the 5. Callaway tries to cover it up. And I think he caught it at about the 3-yard line. And a moment ago, before all of this fun began, Coach O with Allison in the tunnel.
Coach Orgeron, after you guys gave up that late touchdown, you missed the field goal. How do you get some momentum back on your side?
We got to fight. They're playing a good game, but we got to go take victory. We totally committed to doing it.
It seems like the weather is getting worse as we speak. How does this impact the game?
Hey, you just got to love football, man. It's like playing football when you're a little kid in the backyard.
Thank you.
Go Tigers.
Who would not want to play for that guy?
Can I go run down on the sidelines? Allison, come up here, get dry. I want to go do this game down. I want to feel those elements on the field, Bob. Man.
Jarrett Guarantano looking over to the sideline. I'm not sure he can see the sideline. And here is a handoff to John Kelly. And he is brought down inside the 2-yard line. And we're going to have to shoot this game with our cart from right behind the bench as best we can, because it's hard to see the field as we take a look at our first half stats brought to you by Dell.
And you can see that time of possession. You would think that Tennessee would be in total control of this game, but it was the 2 muffed bunts that set up 10 points for LSU. A muffed kickoff here has put LSU at their own goal line. And we're going to do our best start we can to shoot this game from some views that you can see. It looks like a few more of the lights are coming back on in the stadium. I've never seen anything like this.
Kelly again. Across the 3-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and long. And there are, slowly but surely, a few of the lights that went out flickering back on.
Now the good news, this will pass.
In moments, as a matter of fact.
This is going to be the worst of it. It is why I think, rightfully, they're going to continue to play this game. There's no threat of lightning. The band of weather, this is the worst of it. This is the brunt of it, and you've got to get through it here if you're Tennessee and continue to take care of the football.
A lot of movement, flags down at the snap. And this is going to be a false start, looks like, against Tennessee.
False start on the offense. After this is the rule.
What did he say?
Sounded like the guy that comes over the speaker in the New York City subway system. He said something.
He said the right side of the offensive line where that play was going to try to be run, try to get off the ball so it doesn't end up in the end zone.
3rd down and 11. Movement again.
False start on the offense. Number 34.
So this will now put the football inside the 1-yard line.
QB sneak.
Play clock down to 5, and that's exactly what Tennessee does as Jarrett Guarantano just tries to buy some real estate for the punt crew.
Yeah, watch this. You've seen this at the British Open, right? Watch the ball here. I think that's what this felt like. It felt like the British Open in the worst of elements. Look at the defenders. I didn't do it. I promise you, I didn't kick the ball. It is just the elements, and it is lightening up. I think that was the absolute worst of it, and that was an adventure.
Well, Trevor Daniel might have an adventure trying to kick the ball from the end zone, just handling the snap. Well done. And he boots it to about midfield, and it will take a Tennessee hop and spin right to the 50-yard line. A 47-yard punt, but great field position for LSU. Their first opportunity with the football here in the 3rd quarter at the 50.
I'll tell you what, that's the guy I want to play for.
No doubt.
In these elements, former D-line coach, head coach, he is the emotional leader. He's the heartbeat of this team. And that is when they went into halftime. I'm sure he was told, hey, this is what's coming here in the second half. And you could hear his Tigers in that tunnel, right, as they were getting amped up and ready to go, and actually favored them tremendously to kick off and get a chance to play defense and set up now this field position.
Derrius Guice picks up 4. And when we said the worst of the rain may now be past us, don't think it stopped raining. It is still a monsoon here in Knoxville. And this field is going to turn into a swamp.
Oh, there's Allison.
And now Allison has returned to the game.
I thought I was going to get blown away there in the tunnel with Coach O. My goodness, I don't think I've ever seen it come down like that with that kind of wind. I mean, it's letting up a little bit, but not much.
Guice again. About 3 yards shy of the first down. And Allison, how much fun was it talking to Coach O in the tunnel with all those players whooping it up right behind you?
It was awesome. It was such a cool feeling because you could feel that energy that starts to build up as they're getting ready to run out. And you know him, his energy is so infectious. He's all smiles. He's ready to go out. And the rain is just pelting them all in the face and they're feeding off it. It was a pretty cool moment.
Well, now 3rd down and 3, closer to 3rd down and 4 for the LSU offense. Taking over at the 50-yard line. They don't want to spoil the great field position. Big chance for the Tennessee defense to get a stop. Etling on a cutback. He's got the first down.
You've seen more commitment to that tonight, and that is a reflection of what Tennessee is doing defensively. They are going to sell out. They're not going to let Derrius Guice beat them tonight. These linebackers, these safeties have been downhill. It is fast flow. And you can see very clearly, if they're going to let anybody beat them on offense, it's going to be Danny Etling with his legs, and he's been effective. Allison pulling a little Jim Cantore down there. I think the Weather Channel is a little bit envious of this situation. I think they'd like to be here on the field tonight.
She might send the tape in moonlight. Guice again. This time breaks a tackle. Stays on his feet, has an LSU first down, and gets pushed hard out of bounds.
Here you go, man. This is what you were built for. And look at him. He's the Energizer Bunny anyway. And he is constant. He's feeling better. You can see it. Just his health. The bounce is coming back. Look at him. Yeah, this is like when I was 10, 11 years old. Down there in Louisiana. They know some rain down there as well. This should be no thing, and he should feel this as this game goes on. It's going to be the run game that's going to determine it.
Two more yards for Guice. Derrius Guice gets to 71 total yards rushing tonight and scores a touchdown. He would join Leonard Fournette, Kevin Falk, Dalton Hilliard, and Charles Alexander as the only players in LSU history to have 1,000 yards and 10 or more touchdowns in back-to-back seasons. And he is almost assuredly going to get to the 1,000-yard mark tonight. Will he score a touchdown? We'll find out.
And if you ever want to take a shot here, look at the commitment and everybody selling out to stop that run.
Instead, they'll play the jet sweep. Darrel Williams tries to turn the corner, breaks a tackle, stays in bounds, and he's got another LSU first down.
That really is their shot making. Right? It is what they have done all season. Their receivers do not get a lot of touches outside. This is how they try to do it and influence it. And you break one tackle. And we saw it earlier today as he got out. You bust one tackle, you make the big play. Now that defense almost feels like 62-stack monster. If Bob Shoop is sitting up here next to us, the Tennessee coaches, just look at the commitment. You have one guy that is 6 yards deep.
Here goes Guice up the middle. He is tough to bring down, powers his way inside the 10 to the 9-yard line for a gain of between 5 and 6 yards.
Darrell Taylor, the D-end here for Tennessee, that is slow to get up, but this is the Big Uglies game. I mean, this second half is built for your offensive line. It is built for that commitment to the run. It is built for the very DNA of this LSU team as Darrell tries to get right for Tennessee.
Taco Bell is a proud partner of the College Football Playoff. Be on the lookout for Taco Bell student sections and passionate fans like these at games. All season long, we've been some fun places this season, but that student section, at least for us this year, is now officially my favorite. And they were down there partying in the monsoon, and it is still raining, but not nearly as hard as it was earlier, and now the lights are all back on here in Knoxville. They want their defense to bow up, though. Second down and 4.5. Guice up the middle. He's got a first down. First and goal to the 3-yard line.
And when he gets ahead of steam, and that's the difference here with some of the productivity from Derrius in the second half. That first half, you saw the commitment of Tennessee in the penetration that really stopped him at the point of attack. And a different story here to begin the second half, and I'm sure there was a little bit of a tongue lashing at halftime that, hey, we've got to get our MVP going, our best player going, and just give him the opportunity to get ahead of steam.
Guice up the middle for the touchdown.
And you will not see it done better than Ed Ingram and Toby Weathersby just did for Derrius on the right side of that line. The true freshman Ed Ingram, the right guard, Toby Weathersby, the right tackle. They just took their double team into the end zone, getting to the second level. Danny Etling, it was his legs earlier in that first half. That was almost all Derrius Guice on the 9-play drive there, done on the ground for LSU.
That's a missed extra point. On a sloppy field, Culp couldn't put it through. He grazed the right upright. So it's still a 13-point lead for the Tigers.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by BMW. We only make one thing, the ultimate driving machine. And Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Apply simply, understand fully, mortgage confidently.
Boy, some amazing video that was shot yesterday, courtesy of Tennessee grad, former UT football player, Stan Spider Jones. He led the flyover tonight before kickoff over Neyland Stadium. And he did this for us before retiring from the U.S. Navy. Now a squadron commander for Air Test and Evaluation Squadron 9 in China Lake, California. Tim Jordan on the kickoff return had trouble handling the football. Of course, on the last kickoff to start the second half, all the way down at the 3-yard line, Callaway was pinned. That led to a short field for LSU. Let's go back to Adnan.
All right, Bob, thank you very much. AT&T Field Pass updating you on Cal and Stanford. Stanford's won 7 straight in this series. KJ Costello to Caden Smith here, 17-yard touchdown, and currently the Cardinal have the 10-3 lead. Back to you and Brock.
All right, Adnan, thanks very much. And the carousel of offensive linemen continues for this Tennessee group. They came into tonight with only 5 healthy scholarship players, and it looks like they're down another as Ja'Shawn Robertson is hurt.
Yeah, and that's going to move Ryan Johnson now into center. That is a 3rd center used here just in the last 2 weeks.
John Kelly, nowhere to go. And Alexander brought him down.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. Honestly, I can't imagine playing quarterback and getting into a huddle in a situation like this. And there you're looking at him. That's Joe Keeler, 67. It's a 275-pound redshirt sophomore getting his first taste of action. I mean, you're just introducing yourself. What's your name? How you doing, man? and another center that you've never even probably taken snaps from. As you see them trying to go under center rather than the shotgun, because you don't even know if Ryan Johnson can shotgun snap.
And it to Kelly again. And LSU is selling out to stop the run, and why wouldn't you? As Kelly is brought down by Brady Williams back at the 14-yard line. That's a loss of a couple more.
Yeah, Tony Dungy had a saying, and it was all over the walls when we were in Indianapolis. No excuses, no explanations. Right? You don't get to make them in football. That's just the way it's going to go. You lose a guy, next guy up. You lose another one, next guy up. But when you have lost the kind of people that Tennessee has lost at the line of scrimmage here offensively, it just paralyzes everything that you want to be able to do.
John Kelly now 21 carries for 28 yards. No answers in the run game. 3rd and 12. And Guarantano has to struggle just to make sure he catches the shotgun snap. And Brady Williams, coming on a blitz, forces him to unload the football. And it's a 3-and-out.
You know what? And on the other side, you're never ever going to apologize. If you're at Orgeron, you're telling Dave Aranda, don't back off, don't shoot, don't back down. Go ahead and bring Brady Williams, just like he did in the first half on a sack, on a corner blitz. It was on the other side. It was Tolliver earlier. It's into the short side. Continue to be aggressive, and you can't control how decimated the team is on the other side. And you got to take advantage.
Line drive kick over the head of Chark. Sideways hop, but well done by Trevor Daniel. Close to the LSU 30-yard line with 5.5 minutes to go in the 3rd.
You're watching that, while Dari, Gene, and Chris are watching this, doing that, and talking to this guy, which means you can watch it all later when you tune in to SEC Now, tonight on the SEC Network.
Back in Knoxville, where the half began with high winds and heavy rain, that front has seemed to move through. The rain has stopped, but the temperatures are dropping. And on the LSU sideline, they're making some adjustments. The equipment staff very busy. Running back Derrius Guice switching out his gloves, going for leather gloves for better grip in the wet conditions. And a lot of guys around the heaters here on the sideline trying to keep their hands warm. They're also handing out hand warmers for the guys to use on the field.
Well, they'll start here with Guice into a swarm of orange. He might have lost a half yard, but Brock, obviously, for Derrius Guice, protecting the football is now the job.
Yeah, that will be priority number 1 here over the final 20 minutes of this game, and you can see it. He's just getting a feel. They got new gloves. You want to feel the tackiness of it. Make sure you work that high and tight, that ball security, because you know Tennessee on the other side, they've watched this offense struggle. They know how beat up they are. I would expect them to rip, claw, tear, do everything they can do on that side of the ball to try to give their offense field position.
Guice again. It'll be 3rd down and long. Bob Wischusen, Brock Ewert, and Allison Williams here in Knoxville. Inside of 5 minutes to go in the 3rd. 2-touchdown lead for LSU. And now we have another injured volunteer. And not only right now might the Tennessee defense be losing a player, they have already lost another offensive lineman. That's Jonathan Kongbo, who's down. We, in the midst of all of the weather craziness here in Knoxville, have lost a couple of cameras. 4:44 to go in the 3rd. We'll step aside for just a moment.
Home of the New Year's Six and the college football playoff.
Another injured volunteer as Kongbo is now off the field. That's 2 defensive ends, Brock, that they are now down during tonight's game as well.
Yeah, the good news is it does look like Darrell Taylor has come back into the game at that defensive end spot, but all they're going to see is a whole lot of those big fellas. And the commitment to that inside run game, to the jab outside, that 1-2 punch has been enough.
Quarterback draw. Etling 2 yards shy of the 1st down. Tuttle and Vickers combine on the stop for Tennessee. He's actually a full 3 yards shy of the 1st down. So that's 12 plays now run by LSU offensively in the 3rd quarter. All of them runs. They're just not putting the ball in harm's way with this lead.
Why would you?
We talked to the offensive coordinator, Matt Canada, and he joked about how he takes criticism for being too conservative, but if they hold on to this lead, they will have won 5 of their last 6 in the SEC. And this will roll down to about the 13-yard line. Actually marked down at the 12. It's a 51-yard punt. Week 11, Monday Night Football. Matt Ryan and the 5-4 Falcons take on Russell Wilson and the 6-3 Seahawks. Monday Night Countdown kicks off our coverage at 6 Eastern on ESPN. But Brock Ewert, the team you know as well as anyone, the Seattle Seahawks. What do they have left on the back end of their defense going up against Matt Ryan?
Yeah, not a lot, but they got number 3. In fact, 82% of the offense. He's their leading rusher, and no player in the Super Bowl era has ever accounted for 82% of the offensive production. That's what number 3 does for Seattle, and he'll be counted on even more.
John Kelly up the middle and gets a push across the 20. Special teams we knew was going to be a big part of tonight's game, and look what it has done to field position for both of these teams.
Yeah, it set the table. It set the table for LSU, and a whole lot of their points have been on those short fields. And it's been an uphill battle in every single way. And I have a sense Mr. Callaway, before this night is done, is going to have a couple more go routes thrown his way.
Straight back to throw for Guarantano. He'll take a shot down the sideline, but his receiver stopped. Josh Palmer broke off his route, and Dante Jackson was the only player that had a chance at the football. Now it's 3rd down and a long one close to 2.
Yeah, and I don't know if I'm going to the true freshman, not after what Callaway, that we call that a mirror route. Right? That is just 7-man protection. You've got go routes on both sides, and as a QB, you really get to pick who you want to go to in that situation. He goes for the true freshman, no separation. And the redshirt freshman eyeing that sidelines and really hoping to keep these chains moving.
Play clock down to 5. Guarantano out of the pocket. Dives forward, close to the 1st down. Rashard Lawrence brought him down. Where will they spot the football? Boy, very close. And it looks like he might be just a bit short. They're going to have to bring the chains out and measure. He needed to get to the 22-yard line, and it looks like the nose of the football is inches away from the 22. Wow. 2:47 to go in the third. Brock down by 2 touchdowns inside your own 25-yard line. You're going for it.
Sure.
Interim head coach, 0-6 in the league. Why not?
Now there's a little danger here. You've got a new center that has already been a challenge on a few of the snaps, even securing if it is to be a quarterback sneak. That Ryan Johnson there, number 70, moved from right guard to left guard to center, and you can secure that first and foremost.
Look at the defense for LSU. I mean, nobody protecting the middle of the field.
He doesn't even know what the play is. He was looking in, don't worry about it. And it may just be a hard count here, trying to get all those bodies to move.
There's the quarterback sneak. Extra effort. He might have lost yardage. Behind a makeshift offensive line, they try and sneak it inside their own 25-yard line, and it looks like Tennessee has come up short. No measurement necessary here. He lost yardage.
And it was big, number 99. If the offensive line on the other side is built for moments like this, so is Greg Gilmore. Low man win, and you're taking on a new center, and you can see the line of scrimmage changes. He and his buddy Lawrence right next to him, they get underneath, and they don't just get underneath. I mean, they are down there digging, and they are driving that line of scrimmage back, and there was nowhere for Guarantano to go.
When Greg Gilmore wants to train during the offseason, he gets together with Frank Herron, and those two this past summer would take Greg Gilmore's truck and push it up and down the alley next to the LSU training facility.
Yeah, that was the Walter
That is
Jones.
old school.
Yeah, Walter Jones method back in the day.
How about this shift? Unbalanced to the left. Play action instead to the right for Etling. An easy flip into the right flat to Darrel Williams. Well-designed play, and it's 1st and goal at the 6.
The master of deception. That is so much of what LSU loves to do there in that pre-snap routine, and they've been really good tendency-wise. Running to the right, running to the left, off that unbalanced. And that time I've been calling for that play action pass. And they've done it with the jet sweep. At that time, the more conventional method, and another big play for LSU.
And now it's Guice that lines up as the H-back. And instead it's Williams that takes the handoff. He's into the end zone again for another LSU touchdown.
In some ways, conventional wisdom would have told you that the monsoon and the rainy conditions may favor the underdog. Get it ugly. But that is just the way LSU plays. They hit you in the face. Foster Morrow there, number 84, one of Ed Orgeron's favorites. In his estimation, exemplifies the toughness of the program. Paved the way for Darrel Williams, another guy that if you want to see who's the face of this program, there's no doubt the Guice is the best. He's the energizer. He's the choreographer. But it's Darrel Williams and company that like doing the dirty work and pay it off.
Let's take a look at this week's college football playoff rankings brought to you by Northwestern Mutual. How this may change as we head to another reveal on Tuesday night. But Oklahoma, Miami, Clemson, Alabama, much of course, the SEC and the top 25 on a cupcake weekend.
There were a couple scares. I mean, this score is not really indicative of that game.
Yep,
you could see Notre Dame against Navy. Navy always seems to play those guys tough. Wisconsin helps their strength of record, strength of schedule, two in a game that they controlled really in the second half.
And you wonder where LSU would be without the loss to Troy. Their only other 2 losses on the road to Mississippi State, on the road to Alabama.
Could be a whole lot closer to the top 10.
Returnable for Tim Jordan. To the 20-yard line. Kick off your Week 11 Sunday NFL Countdown at 10 a.m. Eastern tomorrow on ESPN. The 5th anniversary of the butt fumble. That's obviously near and dear to my heart. The crew will count down the biggest blunders in NFL history. Plus, Randy Moss will rank the best catches from this weekend's college football games. And You Got Mossed. You can also see Countdown streaming live on the ESPN app.
How was your call on that play, by the way?
I think you've got to be kidding me. It's kind of the way I capped it. Yeah, that was a moment. Mark Sanchez and Brandon Moore joined forever, so to speak. Well, John Kelly is stronger than 5'9", 205, whatever lead you to believe, as he is able to carry tacklers across the 25-yard line.
And he'll be a senior next year, and there's a couple pieces in place. There have been some top-notch recruiting classes that Butch Jones brought here to Knoxville. John is a fire plug. He is a ball of energy, but it is just so, and I've said this once, I've said it 100 times tonight, it is so difficult to do anything, to implement any kind of game plan, if you just can't really even function here at the line of scrimmage, which has been so much of this season for Tennessee.
Kelly again. Maybe a yard and a half. Ed Alexander made the stop. Now, it's a minute to go in the third quarter. You're down by 3 scores. At some point, just for the sake of not playing in a phone booth, do you not have to allow Guarantano to throw the football more than 5 yards past the line of scrimmage?
Yeah, and I think you're looking at quick game, right? At that point, all we have really seen were 2 go routes and then screen passes. That really is the majority of what you have been able to handle here offensively tonight. Yeah, but at some point, Callaway's got to get involved in something other than just a pure go route. But look at this. I mean, this is smart. This is exactly what you do. Give them no free access and make them earn everything.
Guarantano, long throw to the sideline, loops it in, and it is caught by Jeff George. And somehow he stays in bounds with the stiff arm down inside the 15-yard line. Some life shown by the Vols.
And I think Dave Aranda is saying, are you kidding me? The drive before half were 2 miraculous plays. And that time, Kevin Tolliver just loses sight. The ball's got a lot of air on it. It's not thrown anywhere near the timing and the precision, but that is a 60-yarder thrown right into coverage. And credit Jeff George there for not quitting.
And that will take us to the fourth quarter, where Tennessee will try and make it a 2-score game again, as they will have it inside the LSU 15-yard line when we come back. Welcome back to College Football Primetime, presented by Hampton by Hilton. You're watching the SEC on ESPN. Bob Wischusen alongside Brock Ewart. Allison Williams down on the field, start of the fourth quarter. And it was slow going for Tennessee till they hit one for 60 right at the end of the third. This is their first snap in the red zone on offense tonight. Trying to make the game interesting, but now field goals do nothing for the Vols. They need touchdowns. And some rain starts to fall once again, and Guarantano has to cover up an errant snap.
Well, this was a little interesting. This was after that play in between quarters, and Dave Aranda, who keeps his cool pretty clear on the sidelines most times, he's given his defense an earful. And he goes back here with John Battle. And that was a corner route thrown into coverage. And yeah, there's 2 takeaways tonight, both those in special teams. You look at 10 takeaways on the year in 10 games. That should be one. That is one that you point to, that if you really want to be a lead on that side of the ball, take the ball away. You get an opportunity.
Guarantano is going to look for the end zone. Incomplete. Intended for Brandon Johnson, who has been quiet tonight. Grant Delpit was there and covered. Flag thrown. And now the officials will get together. Jackson was there trying to help as well.
Unsportsmanlike conduct on the defense, number 1. Half the distance to the goal. Automatic, first down.
And Dante saying, I was just waving at that Taco Bell fan club down there that were giving me the business. I wasn't taunting the player.
That might have been more than just a wave to the student section.
Yeah.
That might have been a salute that Ed Orgeron is not going to appreciate. And they're going to leave Dante Jackson on the field. But that is the first penalty against LSU, and that is a penalty of pure stupidity for Dante Jackson as he costs his team what should have been 3rd down and a mile. Now 1st and 10 at the 10. Bobbled snap once again. Maintaining his composure, Guarantano bullets one to the sideline and off the chest plate of Callaway. And Callaway's hurt. He gets up, can't put any weight on the right ankle.
That kid, like so many of these, has just been banged up and hurt all season long.
He missed last week's game because of an ankle injury. He was questionable even tonight and was able to gut it out. Well, the hits just keep on coming for Tennessee. It's amazing. Kelly up the middle. Now it will be 3rd down, and it looks as if the Vols can get a first down at about the half-yard line, but for all intent and purposes, it's 3rd down and goal.
Referenced all the statistical struggles from this season, and you can add this area of the field with it as well. Just situationally, there's nothing to hang your hat on all season. And really, even like the last 2 snaps, it doesn't look like much, but it just discombobulates the entire timing rhythm of the play if you can't even secure that initially. And LSU is saying, where are you going to go? I've got one-on-one. I got that old-fashioned cat defense. I got that cat, I got that cat, I got that cat. And I like every one of those matchups. What are you going to do about it?
Play clock at 3. And a false start. So it goes from bad to worse.
False start on the offense, number 73 and 77. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
And that is 1,000%, and the faithful that are here are booing, but that is 1,000% about a new center. We're seeing a lot of dancing out of LSU tonight. These guys take on some of the personality of Ed Orgeron. There is just no doubt about it. Have the joy of playing football. And these guys have such a passion, man. When I think LSU, through all the years, and this is going to be, if they hang on here over the next 12 minutes, their 18th consecutive year of winning 8 or more games. They love to play defense, and they mix a whole lot of fun with it, too.
And now, after all that,
first charge timeout. Tennessee.
A timeout taken by Tennessee. So after the false start, with the clock stopped, Tennessee has to call a timeout that who knows they may need later on in the 4th quarter. That Mizzou team hung 50 on Tennessee in a win last week as well.
Dancing on the field, dancing off the field. Let's go.
After the Tennessee timeout, 3rd down and 10 from outside the 10. Guarantano through the back of the end zone. Now it's 4th down. Hit by Rashard Lawrence.
Yeah, Rashard Lawrence is welcoming Trey Smith at that left tackle position. Trey's been really good. He's going to be a freshman All-American. He played right guard his first 8 starts. He's out there on an island. He's won some battles in the run game. He has lost some battles. He's going to be a very good one. But Mr. Lawrence is getting healthy tonight in many ways.
Four-man rush. Tennessee, of course, has to go for it. Shot through the back of the end zone from Guarantano. Incomplete. And the Vols will turn it over on downs. So LSU with the football and a 20-point lead. They have survived the elements. And so far, at least, have survived a Tennessee team that came out tonight with a lot of passion. But that passion is not only matched, but exceeded when Ed Orgeron is the coach on the other sideline.
Yeah, I mean, you just saw that at halftime, right? He is at the front of the line. The rain and the wind is pelting him in the face, and he just says, bring it on. Let's go. And in some ways, isn't that LSU season? I mean, they got hit in the face. You lose to Troy. You lose your streak of all these wins versus non-conference teams, and it would have been easy to just tuck tail, you know, if you didn't have the grit and the toughness. And he pointed to that game and really the overcoming that adversity for just the makeup of this crew. And they like to fight. And it's not very often, you know, when I ask these coaches, and you get tired of it, rightfully so. You get tired when I ask them who's just the toughest guy, right? You get in the octagon in the middle of this stadium, who's it going to be? It's going to be this guy. And it's not many times. I think you even said, Bob, that's the first tight end. Foster Morrow is the toughest guy. That's the one that you would put in the ring. And Ed Orgeron said absolutely. And to me, that just speaks to how many tough guys he's got on this team.
Guice breaks a tackle. And he finds his way to the 25-yard line. That is good for a first down. Time for our all-state, all-hands in play.
And everybody getting involved in the run game today for LSU, a group that's been committed to it all season, 70% run. That was big Darrel Williams. That was on the jet sweep. There's Guice in the middle. And there's Darrel doing his thing once again. They come at you in a lot of different ways, right? All the pre-snap movement and actions, and then post-snap, really good balance inside and outside.
And because they come at you like a steamroller, another injury.
Man.
That's Daniel Batuli, the Sam linebacker, down for Tennessee. So, boy, it does not seem like you go 5 to 7 plays for the Vols without some player shaken up and coming off the field. And it looks like they're working on the right leg of Batuli. We'll step aside while they do.
TENN College Football is presented by Hampton by Hilton. Book a room today and follow your team all the way. And in part by Ford, going further so you can.
When we went out on campus yesterday to see if we could find some Vol students to take selfies, it was a much better day yesterday than it was today, because a lot of those same students tonight sat through a monsoon in the student section, and they have also watched the Vols continue to struggle offensively, and LSU has done what they do. They have been true to their character, and they have dominated the line of scrimmage tonight. Keep it on the ground with Derrius Guice here. 3.5 yards.
All right, you guys have a pen ready? We'll go through some injuries here for Tennessee, because there's a few of them. Houston Kongbo not able to go back out there. They're saying that he is probable, but they continue to kind of work on him. I'm watching him here on the sideline. Looks like he's going to maybe try and give it a go as he grabs his helmet. Now, Reginald McKenzie, lower body injury. He is unlikely to return. And I will let you know, Marquez Callaway on the offensive side of the ball in the locker room, an ankle injury, the same ankle that kept him out of last week, so it does not seem like he'll be back. And I'll get you something on Batuli as soon as I can.
It's a long list, Allison. Try to keep up with it as best you can. Chark in motion. Etling on a rollout to Guice in the flat. He's got a first down.
That's now 46 plays, and you just start to look at these numbers. And Matt Canada was right. He said, I'm not going to apologize for running the ball. You know, he was paid an awful lot of money to come here. And I think there was an expectation that he was going to reinvent this offense, right? That you're just going to start throwing it all over the place. You're not. I mean, your team is built to do just this. This is the strength that you group up front in dynamic run game.
Guice again, about 5 yards. Having said that, though, don't you at some point in today's world of college football have to come out of this by getting a big-time quarterback, matching the wide receiver talent that they have traditionally had, which is through the roof at LSU, so you don't just depend on these great running backs Because Leonard Fournette, Derrius Guice, the latest two incarnations of great running backs they've had at LSU, but they never seem to be able to have a pass game that they can consistently count on.
Any balance in that phase of it.
And Batuli able to shake it off and get back out on the field for Tennessee. Guice for 2 more yards.
I think
and it is Batuli in on the stop.
Yeah, and I think where that stands out is even look at this stretch where they have been red hot in conference. And they ran for 190 yards on Alabama. Nobody else has done that this season. But in that game, there were 4, 5, 6 shot plays that you've got to hit. You're going to get, if you're going to come here and you're going to be a wide receiver or you're going to come here to play quarterback, you are going to get one-on-one situations. You're just going to. With what they're going to have at the line of scrimmage, 2 true freshmen here. As excited as they are at Tennessee about Trey Smith, be equally excited about 77 there, Charles. Right guard Ingram, who's had some fantastic blocks today. You get those one-on-ones, but you have got to win them against elite competition.
Etling bypassed the pitch to Guice and picked up the first down on his own.
And I think the exciting thing here too is every one of these LSU O-linemen, they come back. KJ Malone has been battling some injury. He's been out the last 4 weeks. That's opened up the door for 77 Charles. We saw him in warm-up. He was the big guy that ran by me. And what did you say? Look at those calves.
Yeah, they were bigger than my thighs. That's saying something. I'm not skinny. Guice inside the 40, puts a move on, but loses his footing. Almost juked out Nigel Warrior. Plenty good enough for another LSU first down. And looks like Brock Ewart after he gets done on the range. That is ugly.
And guess where they ran behind? Big calves. They ran right behind old Sadiq Charles and the rest of the crew. And that also has just jumped off the film. We had LSU week 1. And, as they've evolved this season, as all that grass comes underneath and comes out, as they've evolved, what I have seen is just an unbelievable commitment from every receiver on this team. You know that the tight ends like to block. We already pointed to the toughness of Morrow. But watch these guys block. Everybody gets involved.
Guice again. Keeps driving his legs. Inside the 35 to about the 33-yard line. And remember, Tuesday night on ESPN, the exclusive reveal of the next college football playoff top 25 rankings at 7 Eastern. Reese and the guys with coach's reaction, the live interview with committee chairman Brady Hoke. We will see who is in the top 4 and, even more importantly, who's at 5, 6, and 7. Will there be any changes? It's also streaming live on the ESPN app. Wouldn't expect too many changes after the entire top 10 won today. Etling to Guice. A gain of 2.5. And Guice slow to get up.
I think you're getting to the point here, and I think even on this drive where I'm sure there were some folks saying, okay, maybe a couple more carries and get Derrius out of this game, and let's hope that he can get up and walk this off.
Not much mystery as to how LSU was going to win this game tonight. They have stayed true to their game plan. There's still a few folks having fun here at Neyland Stadium. Not as much fun as trying to tackle Derrius Guice, who, by the way, it looks like just had the wind knocked out of him as he landed on the football, went over to the sideline. If you're a worried LSU fan about your star running back, he seems to be fine. But that might be the end of the day or evening for Derrius Guice. Darrel Williams takes over at tailback. 3rd down. And he'll take the handoff. Met behind the line and dropped. Batuli is able to get the tackle for loss. That'll bring up 4th down.
And this may just be a go for it here. No reason to run the field goal unit on the field. I think even the punt, just go ahead and just continue to commit to this grind.
Ed Orgeron may let the clock wind down as far as he can before calling a timeout and then figuring out what they want to do on 4th down. And it looks like about a full 5 yards. And there's the timeout. First full year at LSU for Ed Orgeron, about to improve to 14-5 as the head coach in Baton Rouge. That's not the first time he was an interim head coach as well. Last year, he did a terrific job rebounding as he took over, but he was 6-2 after LSU beat Texas A&M 54-39. About this time last year, he was named the permanent head coach. He was 6-2 as an interim head coach at USC back in 2013. So he's been through this before, and it was interesting to hear him talk about how he took that experience forward and how he handled a difficult situation when he was given that group to handle last year.
Yeah, you know what he creates is a family environment. He even talked about after that Troy game, calling all the guys in, and he called it a family meeting. Hey, Dad's calling a family meeting. We're going to put everything on the table, and everything that's on the table, you're going to go talk to the rest of the family, and you're going to share it. And he's done that. And with all these talk of all the coaches you're going to hire and head coaches, well, folks, look at what LSU did. AD should, you know, because bring different skill sets together. Ed Orgeron is the leader of this thing, and then you got the brains behind it with Matt Canada, Dave Aranda, guys that he really allows to just bring incredible football 101 and X's and O's to the table.
After the timeout, they will go for it on 4th down. Etling to throw. And he's going to put one up for grabs for Chark. Tries to adjust. There's the flag. Dragged down by Shaq Wiggins.
And look at him hobbling. He's got a cast on his left hand. I mean, this is as walking wounded as any football team I have seen.
Pass interference. Defense, number 6. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Some hand fighting there, and you're allowed a little bit of that, but then when you tug and you pull that player down, right, kind of the impetus then of the hand movement, you're pulling and tugging and impeding that receiver's ability to go get it, you're going to draw the penalty.
A good play by Chark as well to fight his way back to the football, and that's something I always hear you say when it's a 50-50 pass interference or not call. It's kind of on the receiver to fight his way to the football and earn the flag. And Guice back in. Up the middle. And it looks like he got past the line of scrimmage for a yard.
Yeah, and I don't think that's just me. Tom Blackledge said the same thing. I think any old quarterback that's up in a booth now with a headset on says the same thing. Because when you know when you let that ball go, and Ed Orgeron knows it from the defensive side, you're signing that check as a quarterback. And Todd made the point today. Jeff Thomas, the true freshman receiver for Miami on an underthrown ball, just stopped. He didn't go back and fight for it. And it's your ball or nobody's ball.
Etling to throw. Right flat. Caught by Williams. Stays in bounds to the 9. And that was a great point that he made. I remember that play where that was one of the interceptions thrown by Malik Rozier. And at some point, if you're a receiver and you see that that ball is underthrown and maybe picked off, you got to help your quarterback out and become a defensive player.
Yep. And Danny doesn't put the ball in harm's way very often. Right, and the stats don't just blow up off the page. 11 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and you see even tonight, just whatever it takes, he's going to run one in. Yeah, not many better taking care of the football this season than Danny Etling. Something he's charged to do within this system.
Williams again. And most likely another go-for-it situation here for LSU inside the 10-yard line. You know, back to Miami for a moment. We will be the day after Thanksgiving. A noon kick at Heinz Field against Pitt for Miami will be there. And the Canes really did provide the big drama today in terms of the teams inside the college football playoff. Actually, here comes Connor Culp to try a field goal. Where do you think that team's at right now after that win today?
I think they have an unbelievable sense of belief that has been built this season. It really doesn't matter what you throw at them, and they're down 14 in the second half, and they just don't flinch.
Just outside the upright, and that was hooked through the wind by Connor Culp. So he can't add 3 more. 3.5 minutes to go here in Knoxville.
Adnan Burke letting you know that if Stanford wins, Washington will be eliminated from Pac-12 North competition. Currently, Cardinal are leading the Cal 17-6. Dante Pettis has been an absolute beast for the Huskies. They're taking on Utah next on ESPN. Bob, back to you.
All right, Adnan, thanks very much. Well, tonight at 1:30 a.m., the Late Sports Center has a lot to talk about. Baker Mayfield has some explaining to do after a sideline outburst. Right now, Josh Rosen, Sam Darnold going head-to-head. Who's at the top of the class, the better prospect? And is it a Heisman encore for Lamar Jackson turning it on at the end of the season? All that and more coming up on Sports Center. How about that decision that someone at the top of the NFL draft is going to have to make between those two quarterbacks? Where would you go?
Well, it's a one-score game in L.A. right now, and guess what? Sam Darnold, another interception. He has just given the ball away so often this season.
Less of late, as Jarrett Guarantano will hand one off on a straight ahead to Carlin Filsaime.
I mean, we saw Rosen earlier, and as far as a pure passer, if you just like a pitcher, like if you just want to evaluate the pitches and what he's got in the toolbox, he is, I think, a more pure, gifted passer. Sam Darnold's been an incredible winner there at USC, though.
Guarantano to throw on second down, extending the play, and flips one across his body and takes a hit. Len Logan may have deflected that ball. It will be third down with 2:46 to go.
They are still bouncing around, aren't they?
Now they play with a joy. They really are a team that has, and you can sense being around the coaching staff, and also we're there when the players all arrived at the hotel yesterday. This is a team that enjoys being together.
Well, you referenced Ed Orgeron earlier in his stops along the way, and I think one of the things he's really learned and some of the relationships he has with guys, and Pete Carroll in particular, like he doesn't beat these guys up. They don't practice. They're not on the field nearly as long as they used to be in the past.
Screen. Caught by Tim Jordan. He's down the sideline. And knocked out of bounds at midfield. Hard hit from John Battle, but right at the midfield stripe, the screen works to perfection, picks up 28.
Well, there's one takeaway from this game. Tennessee can run screens. You've seen just about every variety of them. And outside of the 2 go routes before halftime to Callaway, that is it. That has been the essence of their offense, certainly their passing game tonight.
Making the catch on the dive is Brandon Johnson. Well, I feel old too. Brandon Johnson's father, Charles, a 12-year catcher in the big leagues with 7 different teams. Originally came up with the Marlins. Part of a World Series championship team. I remember his call-up. I was working in Miami when his dad got called up, and he was called up. He was a young man. That's when you know you're getting old. Second down and 3. Quarterback run, and nowhere to run for Guarantano. Christian Lacouture buries him behind the line.
You know, it's an empty feeling when you have a run-pass option and you pull the ball for the pass and all 3 receivers go and block, and you're left to hold it for those guys to come hit you. That is no good.
Were there a lot of run-pass options dialed up when Brock Ewart was the runner in the run-pass option?
Just because you told the story about making yourself feel old, you trying to do that to me now?
Well, I think the 5'9" 40 was more of a telling line where that strategy was concerned. Check down over the middle, bobbled and dropped by Tim Jordan with a minute to go.
And it's going to be fun to watch Devin White over the years.
Only a sophomore.
Yeah, of any of these defenders over the course of this season, just in watching tape and getting ready for this one and seeing LSU, at the beginning of the year versus just watching their body of work this season. I don't think anybody grew their game more than Devin. And just his explosion is unique. It is different. LSU has always produced will linebackers like him that just can run, flat out go. He continues to add further discipline, eye discipline, play in and play out. He'll be an all-conference player.
Running
if
back
he's not
in
already.
high school. That was converted to linebacker. Here he comes on the blitz. Down goes Guarantano on 4th down, so that will turn it over on downs, and LSU can go to victory formation with under a minute to go. So this will now, for LSU, since that loss to Troy, be 5 wins in 6 tries in the conference. They will close things out at Death Valley against Texas A&M next weekend. Then obviously whatever bowl game they get sent to gives them a chance for a 10-win season in the first year under Ed Orgeron as the head coach for the entire season.
And for Brady Hoke, he really wanted to get these seniors here at Tennessee an opportunity to go to another bowl game. And that is just not going to happen, and the search is on. I thought Herbie made an excellent point on game day this morning. That early signing period is going to change the dynamic. Right, for the first time, you have an early signing period at the end of December, and for all these administrators and athletic directors across the country, as they try to get their program set.
You need your coach in
place. You need it in a hurry.
Well, you sparked a little controversy, or at least some headlines here, when you had John Gruden on your talk show in Seattle, and he just threw out an Enjoy Rocky Top.
Yeah.
And that somehow sparked the interest of a former grad assistant back in the day here at Tennessee. Could they ever convince John Gruden to come be the head coach and leave the Monday Night Football booth? But there are right now, you'd have to think, a lot of candidates and a lot of ways they could go.
And there's a lot of jobs, and then this conference in particular.
Well, no need to talk about a coaching vacancy at LSU. They have their man, and they are happy to have him. Ed Orgeron has guided LSU now to 5 wins in their last 6 since what looked like a catastrophic loss to Troy, and certainly was at the end of September. But this group's shown some fight, and they have rebounded, and they still have the possibility of a 10-win season out in front of them. Let's head down to Allison.
Darius was acting tough all game, but look at him. His teeth are chattering now. I gotta start by asking you what it was like playing in this game, just from a weather standpoint. I mean, it was raining sideways. What was this like?
Wait, can you say that again?
What was it like playing in this weather tonight?
Oh man, we're ready for this. You know, we came out second half. We already knew what was gonna happen. Everybody was telling us the weather forecast, so you know we just came ready. You know, we felt more ready than them at their own stadium. You know, no matter what the weather is, you got to be ready to play ball.
Have you ever played in conditions like that? I mean, it was literally raining sideways out there.
Oh, I never played nothing like this. You know, but at the end of the day, you know, what I'm gonna tell the coach? Oh, I don't want to play because it's too cold. You know, it's raining. I don't want to play. Like, you know, you got to man up and go.
And you guys did that. What was the difference in the second half when you guys pulled away?
Just pounding the ball. You know, with the weather conditions, you know, we couldn't throw the ball as much. You know, we had to run against a loaded box all game. You know, you just got to keep pounding and pounding. You know, and eventually something will open up.
This team has now won 5 of 6. What has come together for you guys?
Our team chemistry. You know, we all got closer. You know, as a brotherhood and as a family. You know, Coach O always tells us, you know, stay up. You know, don't worry about the people outside. You know, just do you. You know, focus, study more, and everything will be fine.
Darius, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, guys. Back up to you.
He's a character. You know, it's amazing. If you took Derrius Guice, that same accent, everything he just said, and did it in a really low, gravelly voice, he's Ed Orgeron. It's basically the same
Life of the
thing.
party, man.
What a win for LSU. For Allison and Brock, I'm Bob Wischusen. So long from Knoxville, back to At Tennessee.